Hey, fellow productivity seekers. I'm Garland, Coulson, Captain Time. Great to have you back. Today, I want to talk about unfinished tasks. Almost never do we get to finish all of our tasks uninterrupted all the time. We have to move to other projects. We have phone calls to take. Other high priority things happen. So, I want to talk about what do you do when you're in the middle of a task and for some reason you can't finish it. So first off, if you are interrupted while working on a task, it's really important to note where you left off. I have had cases where I've gone out and created brand new articles, published them on my website, and then noticed later on when looking through some things, I already had an article half written on that topic. And that was because I didn't make a note that I'd already started that article. So within your task management system, use the comments area to write, oh, started the article in WordPress or left off here or next step will be. Or if your task management system is set up already for step by steps, just tick off which step you're at so that when you come back, you can pick up right where you left off. Now, another thing is this unfinished task truly urgent, critical, or can it wait? Make sure you're establishing your priorities and determine where this task falls. If it's not as pressing as the other tasks, give yourself permission to postpone it for a bit until you have more time. And I mentioned the step by steps. You want to break your tasks down, like a big project or a big task. Can be overwhelming. So you're almost never going to get to finish it in one seating and in one shot at it. So make sure you break it down to step by step. Then you can tick off each step as you do it. So these small manageable pieces make it a lot easier to make progress. Another thing is if you're struggling to find time for an unfinished task, consider delegating it to somebody else, perhaps a colleague, a team member, or outsource it to a virtual assistant. I like to pass lots of detailed tasks off to my virtual assistants who are great at detailed tasks, and it frees me up to focus on the high value tasks only I can do. When working on tasks, I regularly use the Pomodoro technique. I set a timer for 25 or 30 minutes and I work on that task without any interruptions. And then when the timer goes off, I take a 5-minute break and I move on to the next task or the next project, noting where I left off. Another thing to do is you work with your time blocking. So schedule the task in. For example, if I've got a critical marketing task that needs to be done this week, I will move it to the top of my marketing block of time. And then I make sure that I've got my marketing block of time set aside in my calendar to work on that task. I also take advantage of what I call found time or downtime. Now, this isn't taking your lunch hours or your evenings to work on the task instead, it's finding those little bits of time that you can put in that you may not have found otherwise. For example, if there's 5 or 10 minutes waiting until a meeting, I go ahead and I pick one of the unfinished tasks, one I can work on quickly, and I'll just go through and finish it up. In addition, if I'm sitting in a waiting room, like a doctor's office or a dentist's office, instead of anticipating the pain of the dental work, I'm sitting there working on my smartphone or my tablet and quickly knocking off a few tasks while I'm waiting. It's also critical to have those distractions gone to make sure you're able to fully focus. So that's why I use a focus timer, like a Pomodoro timer for that. And I make sure that I'm not going to be interrupted during those critical high priority tasks. And do stay flexible. Remember, your plans can change. And I'm bad for this. Once I've set a plan, I want it to just continue. I don't want to get derailed and go off another plan. But when your plans change, new priorities arise, stay flexible, adjust your schedule and priorities as needed. So. And be honest with yourself and others if you can't complete the task in the time you have available. If you have to go back to your boss or your client and say, this is going to take an extra week, let them know. So, unfinished tasks are stressful, but don't let yourself obsess over them. Just make sure that you're going to prioritize it, break those tasks down, delegate if need be, make them most of your available time, and set those time blocks aside to get through those unfinished tasks to keep your stress levels in check. Thanks so much for listening. Please hit the like and subscribe button. And you can support independent content creation by clicking on the Buy Me a Coffee link below. As always, reach out at captaintime.com or leave a comment down below.